Good evening. We are tracking several storms in central Illinois, one of which has produced a tornado so far.
It touched down in Mason County, just north of Kilbourne. This was around 4:30 this afternoon. News Channel 20 has learned at least one home was damaged there with shingles knocked off the roof.
Branches are also along and down Highway 97 north of Kilbourne, so drivers there are advised to take it slow in that area, especially as it gets dark tonight. Hail the size of golf balls being reported in Menard County.
Now, what you see behind us, that's scrolling through there, those are pictures that you sent in as the storm moved into Mason County. And thanks to Teresa for sending those pictures in.
We're going to check in now with Storm Team 20's Greg Trumbold, who's been tracking this storm all evening long. Greg, what's the latest here on this storm system?
Well, here's the good news. The storm is starting to weaken and actually break apart a little bit. For about 15 more seconds, there's actually a severe thunderstorm warning. We are expecting that to expire at 6 o'clock. And of course, it was for Sangamon County. We'll zoom in on live Doppler radar. You can see showers and thunderstorms through a good part of the viewing area. We'll zoom in on the area now that's starting to move into southern Sangamon County. It has been producing hail, golf ball sized hail in some cases. So we're keeping a close eye on that potential. But again, it is starting to weaken. That does not mean that it is not still potentially dangerous, though. And we're still keeping an eye out for the potential for rotation, which could produce a tornado out of that storm. Right now, it's mostly over the Chatham area, headed towards Pawnee, South Fork, and Auburn. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning expired at 6 o'clock about 30 seconds ago or so. But we're still keeping an eye on the storm, even though it is weakening. It is now to the south of Springfield. At this point, it could still be producing a little bit of hail. We've had a tremendous amount of cloud-to-ground lightning as well. I'll put on lightning tracker. All of these storms in the area actually have the potential to produce quite a bit of lightning. We're also concerned about the potential for some heavier rain and still some stronger wind out of these storms as well. And of course, over the next couple of hours, although we may not be expecting it, we'll keep you updated if any of these storms get nastier and if any warnings are issued. Our own storm team meteorologist Joe Crane was out driving in it earlier, and he joins us now to give his bird's eye view of the storms he was driving through earlier. Joe?
Yeah, very interesting how this storm really evolved quickly. All day long we were anticipating some storms to arrive around the dinner hour, or at least closer to sunset in the heart of the Springfield area from early this morning throughout midday as well. And they were certainly right on arrival. What wasn't really expected was the intensity of these storms. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center had their assessment for the better threat of severe weather more out toward the plains states today as opposed to the heart of central Illinois. But the storm definitely picked up some momentum as it moved out of the Peoria area, moved through parts of Tazewell into Mason County and on toward the Springfield area. But here in the last half hour or so, the storm has weakened somewhat in parts of its intensity in the fact that earlier the storm was moving to the south-southeast at a rate of about 45 miles per hour, which is a pretty strong clip for storms ahead of a cold front. But now in the last few minutes, that storm movement has slowed down considerably, now moving to the southeast to about 25 miles per hour. When I was driving through it, obviously getting hit by heavy rains on the leading edge of it. Also some penny-sized hail that struck my car in the vicinity of Chatham Road, just south of Wabash, near the Westchester neighborhood, a little more than a half an hour ago. But this storm continues to move to the south-southeast at about 25 miles per hour. Still a pretty good clip, but slowing down considerably from earlier. So that also portends that we could see some heavier rainfall with this, Greg, because of its slow-moving nature. So hopefully some folks that have propensity to see some flooded basements and things of that nature have their sump pumps well working right now, because we've seen some heavy rains with this and obviously some hail as well, Greg.
That's exactly right, Joe. It's a very good point you brought up. Even though these storms are no longer necessarily severe, they could still be producing a little bit of hail, and we're also still concerned about the potential for possibly some gusty winds. Cloud-to-ground lightning has been ridiculous for a good part of the afternoon with these storms, and also maybe a little bit of hail, as I said, but some heavier rain possible out of these storms. Now we're going to go over and hear from Adam.
Thank you, Greg. Thanks, Joe. We do have crews headed towards that storm damage north of Springfield. News Channel 20's Brett Baldeck heading towards Kilbourne, and I believe, in fact, he just landed in town. Now, Brett, what do you see there on the ground? How much damage are we talking about at this point?
We did just arrive in Kilbourne, and I'll start off with the good news is that we haven't seen any trees down or the damaged home as of yet. That doesn't mean that there isn't damage in this area. Keep in mind, this was a very weak tornado, so we're not going to see, massive destruction, things like that. So that is good news. But we're driving around back into town trying to look for some of those trees that were down and some of those homes that were receiving that minor damage. When we were driving here, we did have to pull over for a short period of time because the rain was so heavy, the hail was so heavy, there was no way that we could stay on the road. We were joined by, I would say, about 30 other cars at a local farm just waiting for the storm to pass. So once again, as I said, the good news is that we haven't found any damage. That doesn't mean there isn't any damage, but like I said, not any massive destruction, nothing too serious, but enough for us to get out here and try to look for any possible damage from this. Again, it was a confirmed tornado by the emergency manager's office.
Okay, Brett Baldeck reporting for us out on the scene in the path of those storms. Thank you for that report. News Channel 20 will be tracking this storm all night, so you can count on us to have the very latest forecast. You can find that on our website, newschannel20.com. You can also find the latest updates as they come in on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Well, as we turn to news, the polls are set to close in about an hour in today's special election to select a new congressman for Illinois' 18th district.
It's one of the largest congressional districts in the state of Illinois. As you can see behind us, it stretches all the way from the western edge of Illinois all the way east of Bloomington and quite a big deal north and south. So quite a bit of area here. It's a wide-ranging district, primarily Republican.
Okay, let's go through the timeline that led to today's special election. In February, the Washington Post published a story about the Capitol office of then Congressman Aaron Schock. The decor installed there compared to that of the TV show Downton Abbey. Questions were then raised about improper gifts, as the decorator said she did the work worth about $40,000 for free. Schock later paid her with his own money.
It then led to investigations by the Associated Press. The AP found Schock used taxpayer and campaign money to pay for, among other things, charter flights, concert tickets, and trips overseas. On March 17th, Aaron Schock announced he would resign from Congress at the end of that month. A federal grand jury is currently investigating Schock for his campaign spending and will determine whether he will face criminal charges. The 18th district has now gone 162 days without representation in our nation's capital. Tonight, one of these two men, Democrat Rob Mellon and Republican Darren LaHood, will become that voice in the House of Representatives.
Our team coverage begins with News Channel 20 State House reporter Jordan Abadea. She's live with the LaHood camp in Peoria with the very latest.
Darren LaHood's watch party is expected to start here in just about an hour. Now, experts have pegged LaHood as the front runner since he announced his campaign in this exact room, actually, about a few months ago. Now, they say that he's the front runner because he's already a state senator. He's got a strong political network, and this is one of the most conservative districts in the state. And LaHood ran a very conservative campaign. He says he knows that that's what the voters of the 18th district want. He says he wants to focus on jobs if he's a congressman. He wants to make sure that we are creating a business-friendly climate here in the United States and in Illinois. He also says he has deep-seated roots here, so he won't be living in Washington, D.C. and being part of the hubbub of Washington, D.C. He says that he will come back home every weekend to spend time with his wife and children. So again, we're expecting LaHood here in just about an hour, and we'll bring you all of the latest results. First on our sister station, Fox Illinois, at 9 o'clock, and then again on News Channel 20 at 10. For now, Jordan Abadea, live in Peoria, News Channel 20.
Thank you, Jordan, for that report. Now, you have less than an hour to cast a ballot in the 18th congressional election. The polls will be open till 7 p.m., so you do have a little bit of time left there. To find your polling location, head to our website, newschannel20.com. We'll bring you the results, as Jordan just mentioned, tonight. First on our sister station on Fox Springfield News at 9, then right here on ABC on News Channel 20 at 10.
New at 6 tonight, Governor Bruce Rauner vetoing a measure today that would add PTSD to the list of conditions a patient can cite for medical marijuana use. In his veto message, the governor says the state's medical marijuana program is still in its early stages, and he says it's premature to expand that program before patients have been served and the program evaluated as a whole. Some with PTSD say they take many medications, and medical marijuana could help them cope. Even with the strict guidelines in place and a list of pre-existing conditions set, some Springfield facilities are not issuing doctor's notes to allow patients the opportunity to apply for cards authorizing their use of medical marijuana. News Channel 20's Eric Feldman joining us now with what some of the policies are around Springfield. Eric?
Adam, as of now, Memorial Medical Center and Springfield Clinic aren't recommending their doctors certify patients that meet the pre-existing conditions for medical marijuana use. HSHS St. John's, on the other hand, is issuing recommendations. One of the requirements to eventually be authorized to use medical marijuana. Normal's Dan Lynn says he's been contacted by more than 100 patients denied by doctors around the state.
Really attribute the very low patient numbers in this program so far to being the bottleneck that we see in the medical community, with the doctors being reluctant to embrace this medicine.
This in part from a statement HSHS St. John sent us. The law requires that physicians who certify whether a patient has one of the debilitating diseases identified by the program must have an existing relationship with that patient. HSHS is complying with Illinois state law. And this in part from Memorial. With marijuana still not approved by the Food and Drug Administration and with its classification as Class 1 controlled substance by the Drug Enforcement Agency, Memorial Physician Services physicians are not allowed to issue medical marijuana certifications to patients in accordance with Memorial Physician Services policy. Springfield Clinic says in the future, some physicians may offer recommendations or certifications based on regulations set, but it would be completely voluntary.
Happening tonight, Newschannel 20 will bring you a special report on the eve of the 14th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. It's an investigative report on why we may not know the entire truth about the events of 9/11. We take a closer look at 28 pages of investigative results that have never before been made public until now. Find out more in Cheryl Atkison's 28 pages report tonight on Newschannel 20 at 10.
Coming up next with Friday Night Football, just one day away, we take a look at the Philly way one team is preparing off the field. Stay with us.
We are just about 24 hours away from our third Ideal Auto Sales Friday Night Rivals matchup. Nokomis will take on Pawnee.
Newschannel 20's Michelle London has been following both schools this week. She starts with Nokomis tonight.
Well, we'll briefly cross over from the Nokomis High football field to their basketball court, where one coach has been leading this team to victory for decades.
For head boys basketball coach at Nokomis High, Steve Kimbrough, winning is not uncommon.
We've been to the state tournament 4 times, 83, 97, and we took second place in 08 and third place in 2013.
Last year, Kimbrough's team lost in sectionals, ending the season with a record of 19-12. A 35-year veteran on the sidelines, Kimbrough is no stranger to Redskins basketball.
Played basketball here as a player, so you know I had some ties to community to come back and came back as a teacher and taught for 32 years out here, so something that I enjoy.
Known for his strong defensive coaching strategies, players say it's Kimbrough's tough practices that build team discipline and a work ethic to win.
We do a bunch of drills, and if we don't get them right, we keep doing them until we get them right.
With young players returning, Kimbrough says this season will be about growth. He adds he's just 1 year away from having their best team.
We don't have as much talent as some people, but we play a good team game and we outwork people.
Meanwhile, the Pawnee Indians are preparing to host tomorrow night's big matchup, but to one community leader, practice isn't the only ingredient to winning.
The Pawnee Indians have been practicing hard all week in hopes to get a W at home against Nokomis Friday night.
I think we'll do very well as long as we put forth all of our effort and give everything that we've got.
But for A.B. Bennett, lead pastor at Pawnee Assembly of God, victories come through encouraging these athletes before every game.
We offer to host team meals. And those team meals just kind of seem to just kind of click. They just kind of hit.
Each Thursday evening, players, coaches, and even cheerleaders are served a hot meal. An inspirational message usually follows.
We all get together, we eat, and then it's like a team bonding type of thing.
And over the last 7 years, this kind act of service has grown. Churches throughout Pawnee are now taking part.
We just made up our mind that we were going to not only just proclaim the gospel from the pulpit, but we were going to show God's love to our community. And we knew that one of the ways that we could do that was to love on our school.
Bennett says it's just another source of support for the team.
This community is behind our athletics here in Pawnee.
Now tomorrow's game kicks off in Pawnee at 7 p.m. I'll be your sideline reporter, so come on out and see us. If you can't make it, you can watch the game live on our sister station, the CW.
Thank you, Michelle. We're taking a live look at Doppler radar here as we head to break. Those storms starting to head south and cool off a little bit. Greg and Joe both tracking the storm chances as they head to the southeast of our viewing area. More on that in a moment. But first, here's a look at today's closing market numbers.
Memorial Medical Center Heart and Vascular Services Tower Cam, overlooking Lake Springfield.
Good evening. Tower cam showing much more settle, a little bit of rain off in the distance, but right now we are not dealing with anything in the way of severe weather. We still have some storms though, and those storms should still be taken seriously for a while longer before they completely weaken. You can see long line of patchy showers and thunderstorms. By the way, I'm joined by Storm Team meteorologist Joe Crane as well, who'll be chiming in occasionally. Joe, you actually drove through a lot of this earlier when it was severe.
I was just getting up. I was awakened from my nap about 5 o'clock as the tornado warning came down for Menard County, or for Menard and Mason County, as well as part of Cass County with the touchdown. As soon as I heard the word confirmed touchdown near, was it Tallulah?
Tallulah.
That
yeah.
As soon as I heard that, I'm like, okay, I'm in the car and I'm on the way. And just as I got in the car on the southwest side of Springfield, that initial wind gust came through, and all of a sudden the rain started coming down, and a little bit of pea-sized hail on Chatham Road just south of Wabash as I came in, and then got some heavy rain along Wabash through Stanford Avenue, and then finally the rain weakened by the time I got to the east side of the city, and that seems to be where some of the strongest storms, at least through the capital city, were kind of more on the west side, moving down toward Highway 4 toward the Chatham area here over the last half hour to 45 minutes.
Well, obviously, we're glad you made it in safely. I just took off lightning tracker. A tremendous amount of lightning. As Joe said, we also had some hail, golf ball size hail reported in a few places. We'll actually back out and put the regional satellite radar into motion. You can see the showers and thunderstorms really popped up in a hurry. They got intense in a hurry. We weren't actually expecting severe weather, but of course it happened. Just goes to show Central Illinois, the weather turns on a dime on us sometimes. We always need to be prepared and be wary. And again, as Joe said, heavy rain, torrential downpours. We had some gusty wind in there as well. Now, going forward, we're not dealing with severe weather, but some of those storms could still be producing some gusty winds and some decent rainfall as we get into the night tonight. Still a chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms even through the overnight into early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow in the morning, we have a chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms everywhere in the viewing area from west to east. But then through the day from west to east, we're going to start clearing out. Basically, that means west central Illinois could see some sunshine by the end of the day, while places in east central Illinois along and east of Interstate 57 could still be dealing with some spotty showers, maybe a storm into the afternoon. We all start to clear out tomorrow night into Saturday morning. Saturday, east central Illinois could still catch a few sprinkles. The rest of us will be dealing with quite a bit of sunshine on Saturday, and all of us will be getting cooler as we get into the weekend. High temperatures today, we did hit the middle to upper 80s in quite a few spots. 89 in Lincoln, 87 in Springfield and in Decatur. 89 for a high today is where we landed in Jacksonville. Temperatures now, with the rain moving in, most of us have fallen back into the 60s. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies tonight. Still a chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms. Overnight lows down to around 60 degrees. Tomorrow, clearing out slowly from west to east through the day, but still a chance for scattered showers, maybe a couple of storms. Highs in the lower 70s. After that, again, it gets cooler this weekend. Saturday, Sunday, we should see decent sunshine. Highs around 70 degrees. Monday and Tuesday, mostly sunny. Highs around 80 degrees. Middle 80s on Wednesday. A chance for scattered storms on Thursdays. Highs in the upper 70s. Thanks for joining us, Joe. Donnie is coming up next with sports.
Now, sports with Donnie Tillman.
Good evening, everyone. Our Week 3 Ideal Auto Sales Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week is Nokomis at Pawnee, a matchup of two teams hoping to put the ball in the end zone and get the ball rolling in the win column this season. The numbers may not show how big our Week 3 Game of the Week is for Nokomis or Pawnee. The two teams enter conference play the same way they did a year ago. Pawnee 1-1, Nokomis 0-2. Each says it will be a battle when they take the field Friday night.
We played them for several years. Coach Cesarelli is a great coach. He's got a great staff. They'll be well coached. They always play us tough. every year it's gotten closer and closer and closer.
Pawnee's, you know, they're another really good coach team, and they do, you know, they got a different kind of offense that we've seen plenty now, but it's nothing new to us, but they do what they do, and they do it real well.
The players also realize the magnitude of this matchup.
We're definitely not going to take them lightly. We're going to treat them like every other opponent. We're just going to prepare all week, and we're just going to come out and play them hard.
Well, Pawnee's always a very physical team. You really got to hand them to that. They hit you hard, and their offense is kind of hard to read, but I think if we play just as low and even harder than they do, I think we can come away with a win.
Yeah, I probably watch their fullback and number 42, their big running back. Just make sure they don't get open field and tackle low so they can run hard.
It's big for us because, I mean, it's on TV and stuff, and we want to look good on TV, but it's a big conference game. And since they're kind of sort of a rival, we really just want to get that win.
Both teams expect another tight battle. Don't miss Pawnee versus Nokomis, our Ideal Auto Sales Friday Night Rivals game of the week. Hey, remember this Friday, coverage begins at 5 p.m. here on News Channel 20 with our Ideal Auto Sales pregame. Then we'll talk to both coaches leading up to kickoff, and then you need to flip it over to CW23 for Nokomis and Pawnee at 7. And after that, sit tight and strap it down for Friday Night Rivals recap at 10:15 here on News Channel 20. Remember, all your highlights, reaction, and scores from throughout the area, and all your Friday Night Rivals football coverage is available online at newschannel20.com.
Okay, thanks. We're all smiling because NFL's back.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, don't go anywhere. Greg still has one last look at that forecast.
Storm team meteorologist Thomas Patrick was safely out looking at storms a little bit ago. About 5:45, he got this shot of the storm headed for Springfield. Keep in mind, this is not live. This was about 5:45, about 45 minutes ago or so, but just a great shot. Wanted to give Thomas kudos for grabbing that shot of the storms as they move through. At this point, we're pretty much just watching showers and thunderstorms move through. They are weakening over the next, say, 12 hours or so. More scattered showers, thunderstorms will be possible.
All right, thanks, Greg. Thanks, Joe. We will have more weather tonight at 10. Also updates on the special election results. For now, we join Entertainment Tonight in progress. Have a good night.